There are 4 players in this West Indies squad to tour Zimbabwe who, in my opinion, don't deserve to be there. In selecting this team, there's a sense of nepotism when you look at the squad. It shows a level of favoritism. It shows a lack of imagination. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Forum. Thank you for tuning in. Please slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Sometime around 10:30, quarter to 11 yesterday, I got a message on my phone with the West Indies squad. I was on the road, so I could not react right away. And I never came in until very late. So I decided to read everything that has been saying about the selection of the West Indies squad. And one of the things that jumped out at me is that most of the persons are saying there's a lot of nepotism in selecting the squad. It shows favoritism. Those are the two things persons were saying. Favoritism and nepotism. And I would like to go a little further to say it doesn't show any imagination. It doesn't show planning for the future. It's the same old players being recycled. The same failures being recycled. Mark you, some of these players have to be there because of the lack of quality in the region. There's no doubt about it. We do not have the quality in the region. The pool in the region is very small. Now on the screen is the West Indies squad that was chosen. Those are the 15 players that were chosen to go to Zimbabwe. These are the 15 players that I had chosen. So if you look at this squad that I chose probably 2 weeks ago before the Cricket West Indies select their squad, and you look at this West Indies squad, you will see that there are 10 players in my squad that Cricket West Indies have selected in their squad. 10. The 5 that Cricket West Indies have selected in their squad that was not selected in my squad are Raymond Reefer, Kemar Roach, Jomel Warrican, Jason Older, and Ruston Chase. So let me go again. Ruston Chase, Raymond Reefer, Kemar Roach, Jomel Warrican, and Jason Older. Is there a common thing about those 5 players? What is the central thing about those 5 players? Chase, Reefer, Roach, Warrican, and Older. I want to make it clear, abundantly clear, I have nothing against these players. And if you look at someone like Reefer, and you can check back at the video that I did when Reefer was selected for the World Cup team. If you look back at the video, you'll realize that I defended Reefer staunchly. So I have nothing against the players. However, I just want to break off the team for a moment to focus on something that Desmond Haynes said. And maybe here lies the crux of our problem. In his post-selection committee press conference, in part, he said, we will hope to start with a win. I find that very disconcerting. How can West Indies, yes, West Indies, going to play against Zimbabwe, and the chief selector is saying, we will hope that if you really want to nitpick, he's not even open. He's saying that we will hope. There's no way Cricket West Indies should be going to play against Zimbabwe and we are hoping for a win. Do you think if Australia was going to play against Zimbabwe, they'll be open for a win? Or India? We should have a more positive mindset and said we are going to start with a win. We might be down, but after all, we are the West Indies. And the first step for us to go back to the top is to believe that we can win. If we're only going to hope that we can win, we will never win. We need to believe, we need to have that cockiness, that arrogance. And so the arrogance and the ego and the cockiness that the players have, it shouldn't be around the West Indies. It shouldn't be the way they walk. It should be a belief that they can beat Zimbabwe. And not about hoping to beat Zimbabwe. There must be a belief. We appreciate that it won't be an easy assignment. When is it not an easy assignment against West Indies? What is happening in West Indies cricket? That the chairman of selector can come out and say that we know that it won't be an easy assignment. Of course, we're not going to go to Zimbabwe and be lackadaisical and don't perform at our best. But if a West Indies cricket team is performing at their best, it shouldn't be hard to beat Zimbabwe. We look at the conditions we anticipate playing in and have included two left-arm spinners. You know what I like about this comment, although I do not agree with it? Ains is saying that we pick two left-arm spinners because the conditions in Zimbabwe dictates that we pick two left-arm spinners. So if we go to Zimbabwe and these two left-arm spinners do not perform, Ains would have got it wrong, just like how he got it wrong about Ruston Chase in Australia. Because he was saying the same thing when he selected Ruston Chase to go to Australia. That Australia was weak against Finn. Yet still, Ruston Chase could not contain the Australian batting to less than 5 runs and over off his bowling. So when Desmond Ains make these statements, like the conditions we anticipate in playing in, we have included two left-arm spinners because of the condition we anticipated in playing in. When Ains made those statements, he gave us a measuring stick to judge him. And so I am glad that he made this statement. And so we can judge him from making statements like these. So I do not agree with the statement, but it laid down a yardstick where we can judge him from. So back to the squad that they have chosen. And the squad. And the other thing I want to say about we performing at our best. You remember yesterday I told you that somebody who is close to the West Indies setup said to me that the team is fit to play cricket, but is not fit to play world-class cricket at a world-class standard. Is it that's why Ains is open and saying that Zimbabwe is going to be a hard series? Is it that's the reason? So these are the 15. And as I've said, 10 players in those 15 were in my squad too. One, Jomel Warrican. I do not have an issue. I do have no problem at all with Jomel Warrican being included in the team. No problem whatsoever. He should have been in the team a long time ago. In Jomel Warrican last 2 test matches, and although I leave him out of my team, I left him out of my team because I did not expect them to pick him after how they treated him. But I'm very happy that he's in the squad. I'm very, very happy for Jomel Warrican. In his last 2 test matches in 2021 in Gale, Sri Lanka, Jomel Warrican got 9 wickets for 255 runs. He was a leading wicket taker for the West Indies on the tour of Sri Lanka in 2021. and yet still they have not selected him since. We have heard nothing about Jomel Warrican being injured, nothing at all. He continues to play in red ball cricket and is doing fairly well. So how do you drop your leading wicket taker in a series and do not play him in the next series? So I'm very happy that Jomel Warrican is in this team. The other 4 players that I have a challenge with, and I would not have selected them, and I have nothing against them. I have nothing against them. I would not have selected Chase. I would not have selected Kemar Roach. But before I go and detail why I would not select these players, I'm going to take your comments. I'm going to look at the comments that is coming through. First, Karis, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Karis 87. West Indies have been scraping against Zimbabwe in Test series since the late 1990s. That may be true, Karis. That may be true. And we have been scraping against them. That may be true. But what I'm talking about, Karis, is the mindset. Why is it that we're going to Zimbabwe and the chief selector is talking about that we will hope? He didn't even say hope. He said we will hope. Will. Do you get what I'm saying? We must beat Zimbabwe. And we cannot look at the fact that we have been scraping against them and having a negative mindset. Our mindset must remain positive, and we should be going to Zimbabwe with a positive mindset that we are going to win. It's not Australia we are going to. It's not Australia or India or England we are going to. It is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe we are going to. And we should go to Zimbabwe with the mindset to win. Jimbo batting last season wasn't all that, and his bowling tailed off as well. Jimbo was a leading wicket taker in last year's regional 4-day cricket. The only challenge I have with Jimbo, and I've said it many times, at the challenge that I have with Jimbo. When Jimbo was playing Test cricket, he was weighing 360 pounds. And if what Cricket West Indies is saying is to believe, Jimbo is now weighing 416 pounds. That's 56 pounds more than when he was playing. I can't fault Cricket West Indies for not selecting Jimbo. Although in last year's regional 4-day cricket, he was the leading wicket taker. Jimbo lost a lot of weight before COVID, but after he has regained all the weight and more. He only good for CPL right now. Hello, Michael Kane. Happy New Year. It's a long time I haven't heard from you. Welcome to the show, Michael Kane. Good afternoon, guys. Can anyone tell me who going to be our number 3 and 4 at this position requires the best batsman? In this squad that has been selected, and mark you, as I've always said, I do not agree with the squad that is selected. 4 of the players are there who I would not have been selected. But the fact that they are there, we have to support them. But that doesn't prevent me from criticizing them. I think at number 3, they are going to bat Reefer. Reefer scored only 1 regional century in over 80 regional matches, and he is on our number 3. I think he's down to bat at number 3. I think Bonner, he does not want to bat at number 3. Yeah, for some reason or not, Bonner does not want to bat at number 3, but maybe Bonner will go at number 3. But I think at this moment, Reefer, because in Reefer 3 test matches, he's the one who has batted at number 3. So I think it will be Reefer 3 and Bonner 4. Blackwood would be at 5. Beating Zimbabwe is not that easy, or else we would not call back our full side. Beating Zimbabwe, we should beat Zimbabwe. I'm not going to take this legend. I do not want that negative mindset when we are going to Zimbabwe. We must go to the Zimbabwe with a positive mindset. Legend, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that. Zimbabwe can't be hard to beat. What should be the role of Ruston Chase as batter position and bowler? Sarita Devi, I'm coming to Ruston Chase. I'm really coming to Ruston Chase. I'm going to go through the 4 players, and Ruston Chase is one of those 4 players that I don't think should be in the squad. So I'm going to come to Ruston Chase. If anything, Blackwood should bat at 3 or play Thomas at 3. Those are the words of 007. He's going for Blackwood or Thomas at 3. 007, those are his words. Now, so the 4 players who I would not have in the squad, the 4 players, mark you, as I've said earlier, Cricket West Indies and I agree on 10 of the players. The 11th player, Jomel Warrican, I am happy that he is in it. Because the last time Jomel Warrican played for the West Indies, he was our leading wicket taker and should not have been left out of the side. It was an injustice to have left Jomel Warrican out of the team after getting 9 wickets in 2 matches against Sri Lanka in Galle. So although I did not have Jomel Warrican in my original 15, I am happy that he's in the 15. So that means I agree with 11 of the 15 players that Cricket West Indies have selected. Now, the first player I don't agree with who Cricket West Indies has selected, and I know that this is not a surprise to anyone. The 34-year-old Kemar Roach, who have an overseas record of only 73 wickets in 32 matches and getting his wicket at 40 runs apiece. Before the Australian series started, there was a lot of banter in this chat because I have said that Roach should not have gone on the Australian tour. Now, a number of persons did not agree with that because they saw Roach as leader of the attack. And I continue to state the position that Alzarri Joseph has become the leader of the attack, and especially in overseas series, Kemar Roach has not performed for the West Indies. Kemar Roach, who has over 251 test wickets, get 180 of his wickets in the Caribbean from 42 matches. But away from the Caribbean, he has not been special. So in 32 matches away from the Caribbean, Roach has only gotten 73 wickets at 40 runs apiece. And exactly what I said about Australia, in Australia, he played only 1 match before he broke down. In that 1 match, he bowled 33 overs. He got only 1 wicket for 121 runs. Roach should not be in the squad to tour Zimbabwe. He's not a good performer overseas. He should go and play county cricket, and then when West Indies have home series, he comes to the West Indies and play those home series, and he plays in our regional 4-day cricket. So he should play at 34 years old. Roach is on the wrong side of the hill. He does not have the pace anymore. He bowls very well in the West Indies, but he should not be in the squad to tour. If this match was playing in the West Indies, Roach should be in my 11, no doubt about that. And I've said that many, many times, and you have all heard me say it. But Roach, his performance overseas is poor. And I know this time, none of you are going to challenge me on that, because you challenged me when the team was going to South Africa, and you have all lost. All of you who challenged me that Roach was going to do good in Australia and that Roach is a good overseas player, you have lost. So do not challenge me on that one. Roach should not be in the squad. The second player who should not be in the squad is the former captain who I have a lot of respect for, and I respected Roach. I have nothing against Roach. I'm just talking with the statistics. I'm only going where the statistics lead me. And so the second player in this squad who should not be in it, in my opinion, because I am not always right, but in my opinion, the second person in this squad that should not be in it, Jason Holder, should not be in this squad. Jason Holder, in his last 10 test matches, Jason Holder has scored only 150 in his last 10 test matches. You have gotten only 16 wickets in those last 10 test matches. 150 in his last 10 test matches and 16 wickets in his last 10 matches. Now tell me, does that record deserve that Holder should be in the squad? If you look at Jason Holder overall statistics away from the Caribbean, his overall statistics when he's not playing in the Caribbean is worse than Kemar Roach. In 23 matches away from the West Indies, Jason Holder have only taken 37 wickets. These 37 wickets are coming at almost 50 runs apiece. That means he's averaging 50 runs apiece to get a wicket in 23 matches away from the Caribbean. His strike rate is that he's getting a wicket every 18 overs. 18 and a half overs. When Holder is not playing in the West Indies, when he's playing on foreign territory, it's 18 overs before Holder's get a wicket. That's what the statistics are saying. He has to bowl 106 deliveries before he can get a wicket. 18 overs. Now, Holder should not be in the team. And if his overseas record is not bad enough, in his last 10 test matches, it's clear he only got 16 wickets and made 150. He should be dropped. The number 6 position has now become Mayers. Mayers has taken over the position of Jason Holder in Test cricket. Jason Holder should always be in the West Indies T20 team. His performance suggested that he should be in the West Indies T20 teams. In Australia, Jason Holder batted 4 times and only scored 41 runs. He got 1 for 223 in the 2 matches that he played in Australia. Jason Holder should not be in the team. And that is why I'm saying this team lacks imagination and it shows favoritism, because you need imagination. You need to blood some young players. We cannot just continue recycling failure. And I'm telling you, Bonner and Blackwood is not far. Because if Bonner and Blackwood does not perform in Zimbabwe, they should be out of the team. I have no doubt about this. This is the last chance for Bonner and Blackwood. And apart from Chanderpaul, but why I'm not including Chanderpaul in this, he has only played 2 matches, 4 innings. His average is 40. Despite Bonner average being the highest among current West Indies batsmen, he needs to step up. He needs to step up because there's a clear indication that his techniques does not survive well against quality fast bowling. So I want to see Bonner step up. Maybe he has another series after the Zimbabwe series if he fails because of his high average. But this is certainly Blackwood's final series. But you know what? I have said it already. Both of them are going to come good. For that, they're going to play Test cricket for another year or 2 years. But certainly, Jason Holder should not be in the squad. The third player who should not be in the squad is Ruston Chase. Ruston Chase should not have been in the squad to tour Australia. He should not have been there in the first place. And Desmond Haynes came up with this, that Ruston Chase is our best off spinner. I don't know where he gets that from. It must be Barbados talking through his brain. But Ruston Chase, there are so many other better off spinner in the West Indies than Ruston Chase. James, what about the guy James from the Leeward Island? What about James? What about Jazarat? There are so many other off spinners. Clearly, Ruston Chase is not our best off spinner. Ruston Chase overall test record is that he's averaging 27 with the bat and 45 with the ball. So he's neither a bowler nor a batsman. 27 is averaging as a test cricketer. That means 27, when he bats 10 times, he only makes 270 runs. He still doesn't reach 300 runs. And in test cricket, 300 is like a benchmark. 300 is like a benchmark for first innings in test cricket. Maybe that total have gone up to about 350 in these days. About 350 nowadays. So his overall test average of 27 with the bat and 45 with the ball. That's his overall. But in Australia, where he was picked by Desmond Haynes, because Desmond Haynes said that the Australians are susceptible to off-spin bowling. Ruston Chase only got 3 wickets for 313 runs, and his economy was above 5. An economy of above 5, and you picked him as the off spinner because he was batting at number 8. Yes, he made 115 runs, I think, in Australia, but he did not went there as a batsman. And 115 runs in 4 innings is still just about 30. Chase cannot make this team or should not make this team as a batsman. If he's making it as a batsman, he should bat at number 6. And he cannot bat at number 6 ahead of Mayers. So he should not be in this team. He cannot make this team as an off spinner. So why is Chase in the squad? He cannot make the team as a batsman, or he should not make the team as a batsman. And in Australia, clearly, he was played as a bowler, but he got 3 for 313 with an economy of above 5. What is he doing in the squad ahead of a youngster like James? What is he doing in the squad? The next person who should not be in the squad is Raymond Reefer. Raymond Reefer played 3 test matches with a top score of 29 and averaging 21. Now, somehow, I have some sympathy towards Raymond Reefer because I don't think that Reefer should be batting at 3. Reefer should be batting at 8 and bowling his left-arm pace. But somehow, he's been batted at number 3, and this is wrong. As I said earlier in the show, you cannot have your number 3 batsman having played 89 first-class matches, only scored 1 century and 18 half-century, and he's been asked to bat at number 3 in the West Indies Test team. That is why maybe we are hoping that we'll beat Zimbabwe, because you have a man with a first-class average of 27 with the bat and a bowling average of 25. That's his first-class average, batting at number 3 in your test team. A first-class average. His average in test cricket is 21. That is the man that you have batting at number 3. That's why you have to hope. Now, if we do not beat Zimbabwe in this series, Desmond Haynes and Roland Butcher and what's his name, Andre Coley, they should go. Because they are the ones who selected this squad. The captain would have some influence in selecting the squad, of course. The captain would have influence in selecting the squad. But the 3 selectors are the coach, Roland Butcher, and the chief selector, Desmond Haynes. And this squad, as I said, shows a lack of imagination, and it shows favoritism. It shows and it doesn't look good. I'm telling you, it doesn't look good. You know why it doesn't look good? All of these 4 players, and I have nothing against Barbados. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And even the Barbadians would agree with me that with the captain being a Barbadian, the chief selector being a Barbadian, and Roland Butcher being a Barbadian, and to have 6 Barbadians in the squad, Brathwaite justified this game. Warrican justified this game, and it was an injustice, as I said, to leave out Warrican. But of these other 4 Barbadians, their selection is not justified. And to have 3 persons in that selection panel, plus the coach, who's a Jamaican, Brathwaite would not have a vote on the selection panel. But being the captain, he has some influence over who is selected. So 3 out of the 4 persons who selected the squad are Barbadians. And to have 6 Barbadians in the squad, nothing wrong with that on the face of it. Because if the best players are from Barbados, they are the best. So nothing wrong with it. But I don't believe, in my opinion, and I want to hear what the chat say. In my opinion, these 4 players should not be in the squad. And before I go and list the 4 players who I think should replace them, I'm going to go to your chat and hear what the chat is saying. Kari says a Bajan bias. West Indies like they are going back to the 1950s and 60s when there was a Bajan captain and 7 Bajans in the 11. Only problem with this Desmond Haynes logic is the quality of the Bajan players now. Shake me head. A. Andre Coley must be given a run. Haynes and Butcher must go. Andre could, to be fair to Reefer, he has averaged over 40 with the bat in the last 3 seasons, so it's understandable him getting a chance, but he should never bat at 3. And that is what I have some sympathy to Reefer, you know. But I wouldn't have him in the squad because of his performance, and they are going to bat him at 3. They are going to bat him at 3, and I'm saying that if you are going to bat Reefer at 3, he should not be in the squad. He should not be in the squad. I have some sympathy for Reefer. I love Reefer, and you'd have seen many videos that I have done, and I've defended Reefer to the tilt. But they are going to bat him at 3, and he should not be in the squad if he is our number 3 batsman. They are doing an injustice to the young man. Don't use these Barbadian words. We are all one, only West Indies. Okay, Sarita Devi, no problem. I apologize for that. I apologize for that. 007 or Carrie's talking to 007. Windies have no genuine talent nowadays like the past. That is true. We have the talent. I am convinced that we have the talent. When you look around, especially in our school cricket, especially in Jamaica and at the primary level, and at the under 15 tournament in Jamaica, the talent is obviously there. What is not happening is that talent is not being developed. I honestly believe that we have the talent. We have the talent. Now, these are the 4 players that I think should take their place. Brandon King. I do not know what Brandon King needs to do to get into the West Indies team. Apart from Chanderpaul and Brathwaite, and I've said it so many times, Brandon King 34.84 average is the highest first-class average in the Caribbean, in the region. Only Brathwaite and Chanderpaul has a higher first-class average than Brandon King. Brandon King have made it clear that he wants to play red ball cricket. So after 32 matches, Brandon King has a highest score of 194. He has a strike rate of 61. That means he's getting the ball away. And you all saw what Brandon King can do in T20 and ODI cricket. He gets the ball away. He's probably our best batsman in the region, in my opinion, probably. It's arguable he's the best batsman. I don't know what else he needs to do. In the last match, in the last regional 4-day match that Brandon King played last year, that was the first match before the ODI team leave for India. Brandon King made 109. Sorry. He made 109. So I don't know what else he should do. Please remember to slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. So Brandon King with the 3rd highest average. So how can you bat Reefer at number 3 ahead of Brandon King? Tell me, I'm a Jamaican, Reefer is a Barbadian, but I'm not talking country here right now. Tell me, any one of you in the chat, if you are picking a team, no matter what level team, and you have 1 place remaining on that team as a batsman, and you see Reefer and Brandon King walking through the door, who are you going to select? Who are you going to select? I certainly would have gone for Brandon King. There's no doubt about it. Brandon King should be in the squad. He's the most assured West Indies batsman at this time. The other player that I would go with is Colin Archibald. Colin Archibald, who in last year regional 4-day cricket got 14 wickets at 27.28 apiece. He was a 6th leading wicket taker. And the thing about it, Colin Archibald, who bowls at 130 high and occasionally they touch 140, is a left-arm pacer. So he has option. He's faster than Reefer. He's faster than Reefer. And he got 14 wickets in last year regional 4-day cricket. Added to that, he has a century and a half century in last year regional tournament. I see Colin Archibald, a 26-year-old from the Leeward Islands, as an ideal candidate for this squad to freshen up and add some variety with his left arm pace. And he has shown that he can bat. Shea Hope. I would definitely go with Shea Hope. I know that Shea Hope divide opinions in the region. No doubt about that. There are many who think that he have gotten too many chances. And there are many who think that he's probably our best batsman in the region. So we should give him as many chances as possible. There was a time when I think Shea Hope should have been dropped. When Shea Hope was dropped, I believe it was justified. But now that you have tried so many and you have all failed, Shea Hope, a man who scored 2 centuries in 1 test match, I think that he should be in the squad because he's shown that he can do it, and he should be worked on and be persevere with. And he should work on mentally. They should also work on his mental capacity and gives him the confidence that he can do it. So I believe that Shea Hope should be in the squad. Now, the other person that I'll pick in the squad, and I'm picking this person squarely on the recommendation of Courtney Walsh and Curtly Ambrose. Mackenzie Clark, I think he's from one of the Highlands. He bowls above 140 as a 19-year-old. I think that this is somebody who needs to be around Cricket West Indies team. I've said it on many occasions, and persons in the chat will back me up. When Michael Holden was selected for the West Indies team to tour Australia, he didn't have any first-class record to speak of. If you were, after 5 matches, if we were going to go on Michael Holden first-class record, he would not have been on that tour to Australia. You remember Phil Edwards? Lara plucked him out of a net sessions. And there are many cases and many instances like these where some of them fail and some of them succeed. But even when you pick the player with the best talent, sometimes they fail too. I would give Mackenzie Clark as a man who is bowling above 140. Imagine Joseph bowling is capable of bowling 150. Gabriel consistently bowling above 140. Mackenzie Clark at 19 years old going 20, bowling above 140. If we have such a 3-pronged pace attack with either Warrican or Mutty in the team, and you always heard us say that Mutty should be in the squad, but Warrican deserves to be in the team based on his last performance. So my bowling attack, if I was selecting the squad, my bowling attack to start the first test match in Zimbabwe, believe it or not, it would be Mackenzie Clark, Joseph, Gabriel, and Warrican. I would have Myers batting at 6 to back them up. But then I'll pick the team, the test team, closer to the first test. But these are the 4 players who I would have used to replace the 4 players that I said I would not choose. Roach, Holder, Reefer, and Chase. Those players would not be in my squad. These are the 4 players who I would replace them with. Please remember, slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. I go to your comments now. Brandon King is not yet ready yet. So what does he needs to do to ready? What does he needs to do to ready? I'm asking you, Asiba. How are you? Welcome to the chat. Reefer, if you see Reefer and Brandon King walking through the door, who would you select? Asiba, just don't tell me that King is not ready. Tell me why he's not ready. Problem with King is white ball duties always hamper King availability for first class and test. No 007. King do not have any. King doesn't play in the IPL. King is just December that King have a T20 franchise contract. King is always playing red ball cricket. That's why he's able to play 32 matches. The only white ball cricket that King plays is when he's playing for West Indies. It's just now that he has a contract in December. But generally, King does not play T20 franchise cricket. Check the record, 007. Please, 007. You're a legend of this chat. Colin Archibald, give us Max Sweeney or Hakeem Jordan. Colin Archibald is a left-arm pacer. I am going with Colin Archibald. He took more wicket than Max Sweeney and Hakeem Jordan. He took more wicket and he has a century, he has a 50. He can bat better than them 007. I am going with him. But it's okay. I love this. I love when there's a different point of view from my own. I love that. If you go for Hope, why not bring in Carty or Atanes? Or bring back Dowich? Now, Carty, Atanes, Dowich, all of them are averaging below 30 in first class cricket. Dowich could come back. That's another option. I love that. That's another option. But I've always said I cannot go for Athanaze because after 20 first-class matches and 36 innings, Athanaze have not scored a first-class century. And that is one of my criteria for selecting a batsman to the West Indies team. I cannot select a batsman to the West Indies team who has not scored a first-class century. So that automatically rules out Athanaze all the time. And I'm looking forward to this regional 4-day tournament and hope that Athanaze come good. I really want him to come good. But I cannot select a man in my squad who has not scored a first-class century after batting 36 times. I cannot do that. He's not going to make it. Clark I would take as a development player, similar to Seals and Da Silva was. Thank you for that. I'll go for Motti. I'll go for Motti over Warrican. Motti is a better than Warrican and can bowl better containing deliveries. But 007, as I said, the last two matches that Warrican played, he got 9 wickets for 255 runs. Bowling as batting. In batting, what counts is runs. If you look at how Chanda Paul bat, you would not play him in your test team. But he has runs. He has almost 12,000 test runs. 11,900 and mash. If Warrican got 9 wickets in his last 2 test matches, how can you drop him? He should not have been dropped any at all in the first place. If you're telling me that a bowler who got 9 wickets in his last 2 test matches should not be in the next test team, what are you telling me, 007? It is not fair. Athanaze is a real talent, but he gets too many starts and throws knock away. Leewards go two to look out for Kofi James and Karima. Yes, is a good one. Kofi James is a good one. Though which was disappointing, I mean. Motti, in my opinion, is better than Jomel. In your opinion, but how can you drop a man who got 9 wickets in his last 2 tests? That's what I need you to explain to me. Motti did not get any wicket in the test match that he played. And you in this community, how many times you heard I praise Motti? How many times you heard I said Motti should be in the squad? I love Motti. There was someone who would send me an email and say, why are you always talking about Motti? Why you don't talk about Hussein? Why is it that you love Motti so much? I love Motti. But how can I be honest with myself and drop a man who got 9 wickets in his last 2 test matches and play the man who did not get any in his 1 test match? The man who got 9 wickets has to be ahead of the man who got none. And although I love Motti, but I just think that is simple logic. Slash a like on the video, please. Share and subscribe. And I'm not going to hope like Desmond Haynes. West Indies is going to beat Zimbabwe in this test series. That's the squad there. To be captained by Brathwaite. Blackwood is the vice captain. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day. Just the final 2 comments here. Warrican is good in subcontinent. He always struggles at home. Unless it's a flat pitch, Warrican is useless outside the subcontinent. He's useless outside the subcontinent. All right, that's no problem. Jomel Bowl on a turning track. Motti didn't get a wicket in his first test match. So did Shane Warne. I remember that Michael Caine. But I remember that, and that is something that I talk about a lot. When I'm defending Motti, that is something that I use a lot to defend Motti. Because I love Motti. But I can't honestly, and with any fairness, pick Motti over Warrican. Not at this time. Not with any fairness. And I have to be fair and consistent. Enjoy your day. Thank you, Caris. Have a great day, everyone. Please slash a like on the video. And we look forward to this series. The West Indies under 19 girls play tomorrow morning. Take care. Have a great day and one love.